Righto, so where do I start? I mean, firstly, big hats off to the people who do this full time. I mean, this is not easy by any means. It's actually my worst nightmare sitting in front of a camera. I have done my best to avoid this sort of situation my whole life. I hate being in photos. I hate drawing attention to myself. I am just not that person at all. So, why am I sitting in front of a camera now? Well, basically, I'm trying to draw awareness to tradies and people in the trades firstly, and then also just trying to figure out my position and where I'm at with what I've been dealt. So basically, I've been dealt a lemon. What is that lemon? Well, we have to go back to the start. So basically, Easter long weekend, I'm laying in bed, tired, aching, just like every other 42-year-old tradie, I would assume. I mean, we're all feeling the pain. Just laying there, all of a sudden I just start getting this sharp pain down in my tummy, down near my appendix area. And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, maybe I ate something bad or something. I'm like, just see how we go. Next minute, I'm bolting to the toilet. I'm throwing up. I'm like, oh, that's not good. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, I thought maybe I'll be good now. Just went back to bed, was laying there, just chilling. Probably like 2 minutes later, I'm on the floor, on my knees, curled up in a ball, shaking. I'm in pain, feeling sick. I was like, this isn't good. I don't know what's going on. I'm like, just breathe, breathe through it. So here I am on the floor, on my knees, breathing. And I got through it. And I'm like, okay. And then I came good. And then I was like, just stood up. And I'm like, I'm fine. I feel fine. I'm like, that was weird. I've never felt that before in my life. So anyway, I was like, maybe I should tell my wife. She's better with this sort of stuff. So anyway, I walked out into the lounge room and I'm like, hey, I just had this crazy pain in my side. Had me crippled, sort of around my appendix area. She's like, maybe it's your appendix. Maybe, and I'm like, yeah, but the pain is gone now. She's like, maybe it burst. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. And like, the only reason we sort of say this is because a few years earlier, my wife had a very similar pain. And she was a legend. She dealt with it all night, tossing and turning. And then, that morning we took her to the hospital straight away. Emergency surgery, appendix out. So she was saying, oh, your appendix might have burst. Maybe you should go to the hospital. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's 10 o'clock at night. You really want to do that? She's like, yeah, let's do it. I'll drop you off, Bob. I'm like, yeah, sweet. All good. Let's do it. Better safe than sorry, right? So anyway, on the way to the hospital, all good. Had my little bucket just in case I was going to throw up. She was driving. She's like, drop me off at the front. I'm like, all right, thanks. I'll see you later. I'm like crawling my way to the front of the line. I had to wait a little while. Public system, so, there's a bit of a queue. Almost got to the front where you sort of start, telling them your symptoms and things like that. And I had to bolt out the front. I bolted out the front and I am spewing into my spew bag. And like perfect aim, straight in the spew bag. No mess, nowhere, anywhere. And I was like, just crippled in a ball. Anyway, next minute, a couple of nurses come running out. They're like, you all right? I'm like, yeah, just in a lot of pain and just sick. They're like, you don't need to run out here to be sick. I'm like, the last thing I would want to do is throw up in a room full of people who are feeling sick. I mean, you just know that wouldn't go down well. So I'm out the front. They're like, all right, we'll get you in. So they got me in. I'm like just sitting there, pain coming and going. getting pretty intense to the point where like I was throwing up again. And they got me laying on the bed, gave me some pain meds, and they were like, hey, how you feeling now? I'm like, yeah, pretty good now. I think I'm right to go home. They're like, all right, well, we'll just do some obs and we'll suss some things out. And I was like, righto, all good. Well, like, we'll just do a blood test and a few other things. I was like, yeah, sure. So I'm sitting there. And then, I'm like pretty much prepared, ready to go home. And I'm like, all right, I'm all good. Next minute, the doctor sort of comes into me and he goes, so we don't think it's a appendix issue. We think what you've done is passed the kidney stone. And I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm like relieved because I'm like, kidney stone, people pass them all the time, yeah, makes sense, painful, all good. And I'm like, they think that I passed the kidney stone at home. I didn't feel anything, but just the pain might have been the kidney stone going through the tract that it sort of flows down through. And it's sort of like was bruising essentially. I was like, oh, okay, all cool, makes sense. All right, we'll just let you sit in here for a little while and just sort of chill, and we'll wait for these other little tests to come back. About half an hour later, I'm just sitting there, I'm waiting, and then doctor comes in and he's like, so your kidneys have failed. And I'm like, what? I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, your kidneys aren't functioning. And I'm like, is that bad? He's like, yeah, that's not good at all. And I'm like, okay, but I feel fine. I feel fine. He's like, yeah, you will until you won't. And I was like, okay. Like, righto, all good. Like, I'm going to have to keep you in overnight just to see what's going on, do some more tests and things. I'm like, all good, no worries. So, blood tests, on fluid, IV, trying to hydrate me, asking me all these questions like, do I drink much water? Do I smoke? Do I drink? I don't drink. I don't smoke. I drink heaps of water. I'm a tradie. Sometimes I'll do 5 liters a day of water, if not even more, So I'm like, none of this is really making too much sense. Blood pressure is low and, all a bit strange, really. Basically ended up staying there in the night. Woke up the next morning, they were just pumping me full of fluids, doing blood tests like every couple of hours, and then next minute I'm in hospital for a week. Doing blood tests daily, getting results daily, long weekend, so not a lot of hospital staff working, and wasn't really getting many answers. Everything was really dragged out. Just bad timing, really. So, basically, long story short, my kidneys weren't functioning. And what they were trying to do was get them to get back up and function. The results were coming in at like 15% function. So after a week, they still couldn't get me above 15. So anyway, they're like, well, you're fine, you're functioning, so we're going to send you home. I'm like, all good. I just was keen to get out of there. I'd been in there a week and I just felt like I shouldn't have even been in there. So basically got out. And then they referred me to the PA hospital. And they're like, oh, you got to go see a specialist, see what's going on there and stuff like that. And I was like, okay, all good. And I was like, oh, how long will that take roughly? Because public system again. They're like, oh, it could take months. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's probably not that urgent, I'm all good. So all good, sitting there. like pretty knackered after hospital, just needed some recovery time, took a week off. Felt pretty tired, pretty drained. So then pretty much that week I got a phone call from the specialist, and I was like, righto. And I'm like, within a week? That's pretty quick. Maybe there's an issue. And it was like, yeah, you're category 1. I was like, yeah, righto. So pretty much went in to see the specialist, and had 2 doctors there. And they were both just sort of sitting there. And like the way they were looking at me and talking to me, it was like they were almost sort of stunned that I was like alive, or like the idea that I was getting from them was like, I'm not good. And I'm like, this is so weird because I feel 100% fine. And they're like, yeah, you're asymptomatic. And I'm like, okay, what does that mean? They're like, so you don't feel any symptoms or anything like that? They're like, we get people who come in at like 20% or 27% function, 50% function, and have already had other issues. Like generally it's associated with like diabetes and all these other sorts of things, which, general health or not looking after yourself. I mean, I'm fit, I'm healthy, I'm a tradesman, I work my butt off, like I eat pretty well. Yes, I'm guilty of Macca's and Hungry's and KFC on the afternoon before you go home, before you smash a big meal that your wife's made. So from that, realistically, health-wise, I'm pretty good. The sneaky cheeseburger here and there and a large Coke, So nothing too bad compared to probably a lot of other people. So anyway, I'm like, okay, so what happens here now? And they're like, well, we need to do all these tests. And basically, the people who come in at like 70% or 50% or 27% generally have quite a long time to know and understand, learn a lot of these things about kidney health and how to prevent or prolong possible downgrade. I am sort of odd in the case that it has just sort of happened to me all of a sudden, and I'm sort of at the end stages already. I haven't had any time to like prepare for anything. So I've had to learn everything within the last, it's been 5-6 weeks now. A lot of tests, a lot of to and froing, a lot of information. And I'm a tradie, so like, the way we sort of deal with things is we need to find solutions to problems. Problems come up, we find solutions. If you're a good tradie, you've got 3 solutions to problems that haven't even happened already. It's just generally how it rolls. So anyway, I've been dealt this situation and trying to figure it all out. And, like, all right, straight away, I'm like, give me it all. Give me all the information. Like, I don't have time to stuff around by the sounds of it. So I'm not worried. Just give me all the information and I'll try and figure out the solution. So that's where I was at. They're like, oh, okay, yeah, look, this will take a bit of time, rah. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, so what's the possibilities? And they're like, look, you're at 14%. Because you're functioning and you're okay, basically we're going to let you get to about 10. If you get to 10, you'll be on dialysis. And I'm like, it's the first I've ever heard of any of this. So I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, okay. I'm like, so I'm 4 clicks away from being on dialysis. I'm like, what should I be at? And they're like, someone your age, somewhere between 80 to 90% function. And I'm like, oh shit, long way from 80, 90%. So I'm like, all good. I think what you need to do is give me a chance. Let me look at diet, look at all these things. I'll get those numbers back up there. Watch me go. The, impression I got from them was that's not possible, really. And I was like, well, I don't care. I'm just going to give it a go. What else have I got? So basically, that's my situation. And I'm still waiting for tests to come back, still waiting for confirmations on things. I'm learning a whole lot more information in terms of dietary requirements and things like that I have to do. I have basically just used ChatGPT to come up with a dietary plan and find all the information that I needed, because basically I didn't have anything. I've got a dietitian and things booked, but that's still not until the 3rd of January, and that would have been, a couple of months away from me being told that, I've got kidney failure issues. So my next questions were like, so how long do I have before I'm on dialysis? And they're like, oh, we can't really tell you. Like, we don't know. Some people can maintain your percentage for a few weeks, few months, few years. So I'm like, yeah, righto. I'm sort of in this position where I'm like, okay, I'm all good. A little bit blown away by it all. Not worried in one little bit, just I'm proactive. So I'm like, let's get this done. Let's do whatever I need to do, But basically, the more I find out, the more the circumstances looking not so great. So basically, yeah, I've pretty much got to get a kidney transplant or be on dialysis. So that throws my whole life in a spin. Been trying to struggle to figure out what I do with business, what I do with home. I'm in no way prepared for this at all. I haven't had years and years to prepare. I'm literally 5 weeks in. A lot of people either get a lot more preparation so they can be a lot more prepared. So basically, I don't know. I just thought I would share this story, and I got a whole lot of decisions to make as to what I do. Do I live? Do I live life to my fullest now, or do I go and bust my butt and save a whole lot of money because I won't be able to do it later, but then regret that I didn't go and do things that I wish I could do if I can't do them anymore? So I'm like, I don't know, still trying to figure all that out. The best thing I can come up with at the moment is basically balance. So I can't stop work. I've got to provide for my family. But I could probably take more time to spend a bit more time doing the things that I enjoy. And that's where all this comes into it, because basically I enjoy what every other tradie enjoys: surfing, camping, fishing. And I thought, I'm not going to be able to do my job on dialysis, which is building and carpentry. I don't know how that's supposed to work. So I need to probably change to finding something online. Now, I don't know why. I've just picked up this camera and I thought, maybe now's the time. Maybe now's the time for a bit of a life change and to see what can happen. So here I am, basically giving it a shot, and I'm going to start filming more of what I do in terms of like fishing and surfing and things like that. Posting it a little bit about me, also sharing my journey in terms of this kidney issue. There'll be a whole lot of other life sort of stuff that comes up, which I've got to tend to, fixing cars and bits and bobs. So basically, this is where I'm at. And I just thought I'd share it so that, I don't know, hopefully some other tradies and things like that stop and, go get a blood test. Go get a blood test every year just to see where your levels are at. I mean, I'm just like every other tradie who ignores health and puts work and money first, family first. You don't prioritize yourself at all. So, yeah, basically, go get a blood test. And if you want to see where this journey goes, stick with me. We'll see what happens.